Perhaps you are doing it wrong. Perhaps you have been going about it the very wrong way. I'm here this afternoon to talk to the parents. How many parents want their children to turn out well in life? All of you will raise up your hand. How many parents want each and every of their children to become model and upright children, upright individuals? We raise up our hand. How many of you want your child to present themselves in society in a way that the honor will trace back to you? You raise up your hand. We all want that. But it is heartbreaking to realize that a lot of we parents, we are going about it the wrong way. My name is Auntie Taye Lolu. I'm the visionary of a working NGO where I charge the adolescents and the parents. I try to work out a way where our children can be brought up in the best way possible towards becoming the best version of themselves and fulfilling a glorious destiny. A lot of the children and adolescents have been deliberately registered with me for mentorship. Yes, I run an active mentorship program where I groom, I coach, I connect with the mind of today's child towards hearing their deepest fears, knowing the troubles they have, and helping them become the best possible version of themselves. So recently, talking to some adolescents, because if you registered your child with me for mentorship, you would know that I usually call each and every of my mentee on 30 minutes video call every weekend. Yes, I am that deliberate in my mentorship. So I realized that a lot of the parents have been trying to impact their children. They have been trying to grow their children the right way, morally and psychologically. But I'm sorry to let you know as feedback that a lot of you have been going about it the wrong way. The topic of this afternoon's charge is perhaps you are doing it wrong. What behavioral control method do you use for your child? Many of our children will stray once and again. They will make mistakes. Some of them will flaunt our rules, our regulations, and all of that. When your child does wrong, how do you correct them? There are 4 basic means of behavioral control. Number 1 is punishment. Some parents will say their child should kneel down, stool down, sit in the air, things like that. Another method is some will beat. They will physically spank the child. Number 3, words. Some parents like to advise. If their child does wrong, they will advise the child verbally, which was the style my father adopted when he was yet living. Number 4, withdrawal of privileges. Withdrawal of privileges. These are the basic methods of behavioral control. Although for some children you have to combine 1 or 2 together for them to conform. Some, by mere words of advice, they listen, they yield, and they become upright. Some, you have to beat them. Some, no matter how much you beat them, until you say kneel down there, raise up your hand and close your eyes, they will not change. Some, you need to withdraw their privileges. No matter how much punishment you give to them or how you beat them, or you can talk and advise them from today till tomorrow, they will never budge. They won't yield until you withdraw their privileges. For example, you say you are not permitted to watch any cartoon in this house for the next 1 week. Those kinds of stringent method of behavioral control works for them. You see them becoming upright and beginning to comply within a short time if you withdraw their privileges. Many parents don't know this. A lot of the parents use the same method of behavioral method for all their children. This is especially wrong. I'm a mother of children, and each of my child varies extremely one to the other. As a matter of fact, my 2 sons, they are as different as night and day. What works for A does not work for B. If you try to apply the method of behavioral control you use for A, you use it for B, you will fail fatally, because that thing you want him to stop doing, he will still continue to do it. So you need to find time to know your child. Where I'm coming to with this charge is that many of you do not have the time. You do not have the ample time to know your child. A child you do not know, you will not know how to express the child's love language. You won't know what method of behavioral control to use, and you will not even know how to psychologically connect with that child. Until you psychologically connect with your child, there's no way your grooming, your advice, whatever method you try to grow the child in a model dimension, it will not work. There was a time I did a webinar on understanding your child's love language. If you want that video, I will send it to you after this time out. Understanding your child's love language. I did that seminar, and a lot of the mothers, they beseeched me with their appreciations. They said, Auntie Taye Lolu, in the world we have today, I think you are the best coach. They really took a lot in from that webinar. So I would like to send it to you if you want it. There are love languages that children understand, and they vary from one to the other. Some children interpret you giving them gifts as you loving them. Others take service as love. Probably they are doing something, you try to help them or you offer to help them. They interpret it as love. Some, they like physical displays of affection. Some of them like when you hug them, when you kiss their forehead, when you get them to school and say, baby, come and get a hug. They interpret that as you loving them. And others just like you to tell them reiteratively, even if you don't physically display it. So there are, I think, about 4 or 5 methods, love languages for children. You need to understand your child's love language. Apart from methods of behavioral control, knowing what behavioral control method works for your child, you also need to intentionally identify the love language of each of your children. Stop conjoining them together. My boys are different. I told you they are as different as night is today. Both of them. My second son loves physical display of affection. When you take him to school, you give him a hug, you squish him in. Or when you want to pick him in class in the afternoon, and you get to his class and you say, Fola Jimmy love, mommy is here. You will see him grinning, he's happy, because you just professed love to him before his classmates. But my first son feels embarrassed by those stuffs, apart from age, because as boys grow up, they tend to feel shy about physical displays of affection. But apart from that, my first son's love language is different from my second son, so also from my girl. So you need to, many of you parents don't know your children. There was a time I went for an interview at Radio Nigeria, Ikoyi, Lagos. Yes, they invited me for an on-air program last year at Ikoyi, Lagos. I was at Radio Nigeria and we explored various dimensions of how a working parent can harness parenting with working. And I succeeded in emphatically letting the world know at that interview that time availability and presence is very germane in the parenting of any child. A child you do not have time for, you can never know that child. It is disheartening and very heartbreaking to realize, as an adolescent coach and mentor of transformational impact, that many parents do not know their children. Yes, because of mentorship, to the glory of God, I think I have quite a number of teenagers, children that have been registered with me for mentorship. And in the course of chit-chatting and reporting with these children, I find out that many of them have pains and concerns about the confusions of their parents about them. There's a boy I'm mentoring. He's at this university in Benin, this private university. in Benin. He told me at a time, he said, "Ma, he said, my dad does not understand me. The things I would rather want him to do, he does the direct opposite." And this has to do with trying to understand this boy, trying to constructively connect with him. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The boy was exasperated. He said, "My dad keeps doing this. I'm just tired. The mom is late." So it was the dad that registered him with me. And to the glory of God, I've been able to help this boy constructively. And there's no week that goes by apart from calling him on voice call between Monday to Friday and video call on weekends. He will himself look for a way to call me and say, "Auntie Taye Lolu, please, what's your thoughts on this?" He's on campus, but he will say, "What's your thoughts on this?" He wants me to advise him about practical things happening to him in the university. So most of you parents, you are so busy looking for money that you don't even have time to know your child. A lot of you does not know your children's love language from one to the other. A lot of you don't know the behavioral control method that works for your child from one to the other. These things are basic in constructive parenting. And I always tell you, for those that care to know, mentorship is not overrated. The kind of world we lived in when we were children is different from the kind of world our children are growing in now. There's so much decadence in the society. There's negative peer pressure. A child you do not intentionally make to listen to the right things from time to time will more aptly stray and make the wrong choices. And that is why, as a smart parent, you need to become more intentional. Apart from your inputs in trying to uprightly groom your child, you need to give the hand of your child to a godly mentor. And I present myself for that purpose. A mentor who can call your child once and again, who can guide and advise your child. There are parents who were on the verge of misleading their children as it pertains to career choice, as it pertains to choosing subjects in SS class, and with the help of God through me, I was able to correct that impending mistake. That man, mentoring your child for some months now, I have discovered that these are his passions. This is your child's innate gift. Your child wishes to become this because this is where his passion bonds. But you are now trying to direct that child to something he does not have an interest in at all. You can guide your child, but you don't enforce. A lot of the children in the university are disoriented. A lot of the adolescents are disoriented.